Welcome to Rallycross in 2024, where some major tragedy or controversy has hit the sport basically every month, though that could be applied to all sorts of media. Still, even the little racing discipline that nobody really knows about isn't immune to this either. Today's drama of the month comes from the FIA World Rallycross Championship promoters being fired. You know you've messed up when the FIA has to tell you to go home. The World RX promoter was literally just the WRC promoter called WRC promoter, only with Rallycross in mind, creating RX promoter. Really creative naming, guys. In any sense, they've been hands down the worst promoter of Rallycross since 2010 and have given us nothing of value to look back on. Right? I find it funny that the FIA fires them the moment they actually start doing things right. Like, let's quickly look back. When they showed up in 2021, they immediately made themselves known by creating RX Plus, a dressed up way of putting everything behind a paywall, although it's probably a good thing they did. The broadcasting quality from the cameras, the camera angles themselves, and just about everything else you can think of got a considerable downgrade, including the color correction. I miss IMG. They are also the ones responsible for adding the Nürburgring, a track so mediocre I cannot even make a video about it because it simply isn't interesting enough. Oh, and then they failed to get Finland, Abu Dhabi, South Africa, and Norway back on the calendar. Although some of these were affected by the 2021 European floods and of course COVID-19, so the missing races weren't entirely their fault. This season was fantastic from almost every angle. The battle between Audi and Peugeot, why is it always these two, was fierce and ended up with Kristoffersen and Timmy Hansen equal on points. Despite a rocky start, keep in mind that IMG started off rough too. Despite the paywall, it wasn't all doom and gloom yet. However, 2022 came along and it immediately went to hell. Literally. They got Norway back, but it came at a cost. The World Rallycross Circus showed up with the brand new RX-1E cars, electric Rallycross cars that were supposed to be faster in the next step in Rallycross. Rallycross runs on a sprint racing format, so electric cars aren't a bad idea. You go out there, throw down with your opponents, and recharge before it starts rusting. In execution, to me, the big problem wasn't that they went electric, it's that they forced everyone to go electric with no say from the teams. What they failed to understand was that Rallycross teams are dirt cheap compared to Formula 1 teams. If you aren't a top team, there's no way you could realistically afford to build a brand new car in such a short time span. As such, only 4 teams made the jump initially, with GCK Lancia coming in for the end of the season. 9 cars total, an abysmal number compared to the 25 total entries from last year. They were also responsible for the worst Rallycross format I have ever had the displeasure of laying my eyes on. And don't even get me started with Super Bowl. That was a useless gimmick to get views on YouTube instead of just uploading the races like their competitors were. Things looked bad, but don't worry, it was about to get a lot worse. We all know how 2023 went down in flames, with the entire Special 1 Lancia team losing everything on a single race day. The biggest manufacturer had a catastrophic failure on the biggest stage a Rallycross fan could get. Ouch. The way they went about that whole thing was just plain weird. I'll make a more in-depth video about that disaster at some point, so why not subscribe when I inevitably make a video on it. In short, their response to this was to do nothing and pretend to not exist until the final doubleheaders, where they forced Zeroid to give everyone an RX-2E car, which looked downright embarrassing. These cars had such a hard time on the street circuit in China. Vibey flipped one from hitting a rut in Belgium, and it was just very silly. The only good things to come from 2023 were that Patrick O'Donovan impressively got a podium on his second World Rallycross start. The race in Montalegre was fantastic, and Nürburgring got taken off the calendar and replaced with Estering. And of course, Timo Scheider finally got a win. Otherwise, it was a train wreck, with many Rallycross fans wondering if this was the end for World Rallycross. After what felt like forever, the calendar was announced on February, a pathetically small calendar with just 6 races, the smallest calendar they've ever had aside from the very first European Rallycross calendar. However, they did fix the rule set, brought back gas cars for the Battle of Technologies, and this season was honestly really good. Watching these races almost felt like the old days of World Rallycross, except there were only 14 cars total. Although that's to be expected when you actually say you're limiting the grid to 16 cars. Frankly, I'm not sure why you'd ever say something so limiting. Like, what did they think would happen? Even now, I'm still mixed on RX Promoter. This year, they did manage to cook up a pretty good schedule, though it is flawed. For instance, they're making the jump to North America to do one race. I'm sorry, did you miss the part where I said these teams are broke? Now, I'm very happy they're coming back to Canada, and I bet the ice race will be awesome, but then do a race in the USA, go back to Argentina. There are so many good areas in North America to host a Rallycross race that you simply are not even thinking about. I'm also not sure why you do the exact same mistake that every Rallycross promoter has ever done. A lot of Rallycross fans loved Croft and Brands Hatch, but most people don't realize that those tracks came at the cost of Lydden Hill. IMG did the exact same thing, trying to replace it with Silverstone. You cannot keep trying to one-up Lydden Hill. It's like if F1 took out Monza, or if IndyCar removed the Indy 500. You simply cannot do that. Rallycross street circuits are really fun if they're executed well, but replacing one of the most iconic Rallycross tracks in history was just a bad decision. Why not go to a new country and host a street circuit there? On that note, they subjected Hungary to 2 years of being stuck with only the European guys. It's almost like they're saying, you aren't important enough for World Rallycross, so here are the classes that nobody willingly watches. They tried to do the same thing to the SA circuit before the French shot that idea down, and rightfully so. Imagine if they had scored the Nürburgring and only brought the European guys over. That would have been utterly ridiculous. Then of course I have to mention the catastrophic failure of Rally TV. It was supposed to put everything FIA rally related under one subscription plan, except it fails at even doing that. FIA Rally Raid and Extreme E are nowhere to be seen. They missed many races, including almost the entire 2018 season. The video quality is only slightly better than Rumble's, and overall, the price is just not worth it, meaning many Rallycross fans have decided to sail the 7 seas of the internet to watch the races instead. Just so many baffling decisions from this promoter, and it's no wonder why they were fired. As such, here's a quick rundown of some things I'd like to see the next promoter address. First, I'd like to see a larger calendar. Even something like the planned season schedule would be great. With the return of Istanbul Park, I'd like to see more of the classic World Rallycross tracks like Barcelona, Hockenheim, Spa, etc. France, USA, and Argentina need to be back on the calendar. The fans and attention there were great. Do more with social media to advertise, because nobody outside Europe knows there's even a world championship in the first place. You could use YouTube to run a broadcast format similar to the 2013 season, which were basically just highlights from the heat races, both semis for World Rallycross, and every category's final. Lower the cost of entry so more European Rallycross teams could switch to World Rallycross. Consider adding a new category that uses R5 cars. And for God's sake, return to Lydden Hill before RallyX TV steals it like they stole Estering. If you've got any other suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm done though. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and go watch RallyX.